Hello, TechNation. Thank you for participating in today's special Roundtable Webinar Wednesday. We are excited to have over 530 attendees registered for today's webinar, featuring experts from Fluke Biomedical, Rigel Medical, and Prompt Technologies. A few notes before we begin. Earlier today, attendees were emailed a Webinar Wednesday workbook. If you did not receive a copy, you can download one by visiting www.imtechnation.com/webinars and clicking on today's presentation. During the webinar, all lines will be muted. You can submit questions during the presentation by using the questions feature on the dashboard on the right-hand side on the screen or by using the chat feature on your dashboard. A survey about today's webinar will appear on your computer screen immediately following today's presentation. The first 100 attendees to submit post-webinar surveys will receive a limited edition stainless steel travel tumbler. If you do not receive the survey, please email us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Today's webinar will feature a distinguished panel of representatives to discuss the fast-evolving world of biomedical test equipment. We will introduce each panelist prior to his or her individual presentation. Our first panelist is Jerry Zion, Global Training Manager at Fluke Biomedical. Fluke Biomedical leads the world in design and manufacture of biomedical test and diagnostic imaging products. Jerry, a renowned veteran in the medical device industry, has more than 35 years of experience working in many capacities for various medical device manufacturers. Jerry has spent the last decade at Fluke Biomedical pioneering the global training program. Jerry is an AME-certified biomedical equipment technician and holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering Technology from Purdue University. Jerry also obtained a Master's in Management and Science and Technology from the Oregon Graduate Institute. Jerry, you can begin whenever you are ready.
Thanks. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Today we'll be discussing what's new from Fluke Biomedical. We're excited to discuss some of the new things that will help our biomedical engineering community stay up to date with the latest techniques and tools from both Fluke Biomedical and our new family member on Force RaySafe. Let's start with our new test automation software release, Answer 3.0. Answer 3.0 is the largest update to our test automation software platform to date. It provides new login features, customization options, and reporting choices that customers have been asking for. We're excited to offer our customers powerful features with this update. We recognize test workflows and requirements differ across organizations, and this update brings enhanced data security, traceability, and productivity improvements to you. Why should we use Answer? It standardizes the test procedure to meet the regulatory requirements and matches the procedure foundation documents, whether they come from the manufacturer, from the standards, or wherever. They automate the testing and recording and reporting of all of the work in the workflow. They keep your data safe, and Answer integrates with CMMS systems. It reduces sources of human error, and it maximizes your productivity. So how does Answer work? Answer interfaces with a wide variety of Fluke Biomedical test instruments. It automates the test devices to perform the required tests and documents the data electronically and can be connected to those CMMS databases. There are key changes to Answer based on the voice of the customer. The new Answer component is Answer Executive Server. This is required for keeping track of authorization levels, logins, passwords, and electronic signatures. The new authorization levels include Answer Administrator, the Answer Author, and the users of Answer. New electronic signatures that are 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. The new customizable device under test information fields and field names. The author can determine the number of fields, the groups of fields, and the field names when creating or modifying an answer template. Why does authorization level matter? Quality assurance best practice tells us that workflows need to be created and controlled so that they comply with the inspection and testing requirements, and so that they produce results that are statistically sound. The workflow sequence is always the same and not allowed to vary from one operator to the next or one day to the next. Variables in configuration of the device under test, that's like variation in models, modules, accessories, need a way to report what's available on the day of testing, no matter what was expected. All of this needs to be pre-planned and handled in the workflow. Passwords need to be controlled and a process provided when passwords are lost, forgotten, or when an associate leaves the company. Electronic signatures and their control have special requirements documented in 21 CFR Part 11. The requirement for control is managed by also having those authorization levels. The new 21 CFR Part 11 compliant electronic signatures allow users to create their own electronic signature, electronically sign templates and test results, and they get the choice of either a typewriter style signature or an image of an actual script signature. The signature is shown on the answer test report, whether it's a hard copy or a PDF. For device under test customization, answer authors can now customize the device under test fields and field names to match organizational nomenclature and needs. You can edit the existing fields and field names or field labels. You can add new fields. You can delete existing fields. You can include additional groups of the same fields and field labels. One great example of why you need to provide multiple groupings of the device under test information is that, for example, X-ray systems, which have multiple serialized subsystems that require asset tagging and require us to keep track of them. Answer is compatible with a wide range of Fluke Biomedical products. For example, ESA 615 electrical safety analyzer and our other electrical safety analyzers, the IDA 5 infusion device analyzer, the Impulse 7000 defibrillator analyzer, the ProSim 8 patient simulator, the VT Plus, HF, VT 305, and VT Mobile gas flow and pressure analyzers, including when they're used for ventilator testing, the QAES 2 electric surgical unit analyzer, and many of our legacy medical device analyzers, including those that are MedTester compatible. Transition to Advantage training. So Answer 3.0 is all about performing the tests and capturing results from medical device quality assurance testing. Where can we learn more about medical device quality assurance? We have exciting news. The Advantage training team has been working hard to bring you a completely new way to achieve higher levels of knowledge and expertise in biomedical engineering, and you can use these every day. Here's an exclusive first look at our new Advantage Training Center. We know getting funds for training and getting time to do training is daunting. You've told us that. You pay a little more for Fluke Biomedical and RaySafe products, and in the words of our founder, Mr. John Fluke, you deserve a little more than you paid for. So in the spirit of that directive, we're excited to officially announce the new Advantage Training Center, an interactive online learning management system. This brings the power of unlimited access. You can learn anytime, anywhere. You can access the training you want using any internet browsing device, You can quickly find what you need in our ever-growing training catalog. You can receive certificates of completion immediately when you finish courses and curriculums. And best of all, access to the Advantage Training Center is free. The new Advantage Training Center provides access to individualized learning paths, full training courses and curriculums, with certificates of completion for each. You can be your best with the Advantage Training Center. With the unlimited free access and training for all skill levels, course topics range from introduction to advanced technical application. Hundreds of training tools, including white papers, application notes, quizzes, and more than 20 hours of recorded modules. Each course has multiple activities to be completed, and a comprehensive medical device quality assurance curriculum. It covers the full spectrum of medical equipment preventive maintenance and quality assurance. Control your own learning experience. You can complete the courses at your own pace in whatever order you feel most comfortable following. You can tackle a course in one sitting or in smaller increments and groupings depending on how much time you have available each day, how you would like to manage your learning experience during each visit. The Advantage Training Center will help you keep track of what you have completed. With the new interactive self-paced training approach, you can find training modules, product demonstration videos, and printable resources all in one place. Visit the Learning Catalog to review all of the available courses and activities. Self-register for the courses and track your progress to completion either online or as a downloadable transcript. View your profile and access printable transcripts. You can browse courses by category. With a complete learning catalog, you can sort the results by category to quickly find what you're looking for. Don't forget to select the new or featured links to see our latest training. This new system incorporates extensive search capability. You can find the training you're looking for by entering it in the search field or by clicking the helpful hyperlinks to find related learning all through the site. The new Advantage Training Center is accessible on our website in the Education and Training section. Register today at flukebiomedical.com/Advantage Training. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jerry. We appreciate that. It's a fantastic way to start today's webinar. While we get ready to prepare for the next presentation, I want to mention that these free webinars on Wednesdays from TechNation, it's a very popular way to educate and provide continuing education opportunities to the HTM professionals. Some of these same speakers from the webinar series are featured at some of MD Publishing's annual trade shows, and we just opened up registration for our upcoming Imaging Expo in Indianapolis, July 22nd to 24th. You can go to theimagingexpo.com for more information. Our next panelist is Jack Barrett, National Business Development Manager at Rival Medical. Rival Medical is a leading manufacturer of biomedical test equipment, including electrical safety analyzers, vital sign simulators, infusion pump analyzers, electrosurgical analyzers, and med-based asset management software. For the last 2 years, Jack has been responsible for the development and growth of the North American market for Rival Medical. Prior to his work at Rival, Jack's history includes a number of technical solution-based sales, business development, and business unit management positions. He worked within the medical market providing specialty motor solutions to OEMs prior to his biomedical focus. Jack, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Thank you very much, John, and a pleasure to be with everyone today. So the first question I had to ask myself after the answering the question, would we like to participate, is what was I going to speak about? First thought was to perhaps talk about some of the enhancements to our performance analyzers, which probably our best known products in North America, the ESU analyzer, Unitherm, and the infusion pump analyzer, the multi-flow. But I thought perhaps that I would spend some time on safety analyzers, and there's a growing trend now with the equipment manufacturers themselves to start looking at a new test specification, and it's not really new, it's been around since 2007, IEC 62353. And a number of manufacturers are going to start including that as their recommended PM test, safety test. And while it probably has not hit the biomeds themselves yet, it will be coming. So a little bit about Rigel. You may not have heard about much of us before, but we've been in the business for a very long time, 40 years of innovation, starting with our first safety analyzer, which actually goes back earlier than the 8001 picture there. We were one of the first manufacturers of the wooden box with the analog meter, and marketed that actually in North America first as a private label product for another manufacturer. And then as time has progressed, we've come out with new and more products. So electrical safety testing. Historically, safety testing has been based on a couple of standards. The IEC 60601, AMI's version of that, the ES 60601-1, or the NFPA 99, which some states have adopted and mandated the use of that particular standard. And of course, they just came out with the latest version of that, NFPA 99-2015. However, in discussions with a lot of equipment manufacturers, they're starting to look to and move to the IEC 62353 standard. And there's a couple of things associated to that we'll dive into, but one of the best reasons to move in that direction, it reduces the possibility of insulation breakdown long-term from doing high current testing or high pot testing of the individual products themselves. So the concept, come up with a uniform standard for safety testing. One of the things of 6601 is it really didn't go into any detail on how to do field-based equipment testing. 62353 does that for us. The leaders tests are based on the 6601 standard, but with a couple of changes to it to add safety and practicality to the testing. 62353 was first started in 2007, and the latest version, 2014, has also stipulated that the 62353 standard can now be used at a manufacturing location as the final test. From a biomed perspective, one of the things that will be attractive to 62353 is a significant reduction in test time, going down to perhaps a few minutes to complete a test. So what are the big differences between 6601 and 62353? Testing an elevated line voltage is removed. One of the specifications for 601 was that a test had to be conducted at plus 10% of the line voltage. 353 does away with that. Reduce high pot or dielectric testing. And frankly, probably none of you did this in the field anyway. This was always done at the manufacturing site, and the unit is tested at 3 or 4 kilovolts, perhaps up to 5 kilovolts, to see if there's any dielectric leakage. 25 amp testing reduced to 200 milliamps. Applied parts testing are all consolidated. So 601 had you test each individual applied part, patient connection individually, and then would also test lead to lead. In 353, those are all tied together. Like connections are all tied together. And then also differential and alternative tests have been added to the specification for leakage. So what does Biomedical offer? Well, we have two testers, our 288 and our 62353 comply with this new standard, and all the pass-fail limits are set per the standard. So here's a snapshot of our 288 safety analyzer. It does have built-in test standards, 62353, 6601, NFPA 99, along with some tests that are international in focus. You can have any one of those tests. You can customize it to be your own user-definable test. It has internal memory for up to 10,000 asset numbers. Testing can be done in an automatic or a manual mode. It has an interface box for multiple applied parts, a Bluetooth interface to connect to either your PC or to a small portable printer or to a barcode scanner, or you can just send a data file output to your PC in either a CSV or a text file format. Here is the 62353, very similar, basically truly the same case, but just focuses in on the 62353 standard, but also does include the NFPA 99 standard. Again, onboard memory, you can customize your own test sequences. It has two applied parts, where the 288 has 10, and again, you can just simply output a data file. Now, whenever I do a demonstration, people look at the keyboard here and have a small heart attack. But in actuality, to operate the unit, we really look at the keys highlighted within the red box. So we have 4 function keys that will change state, change meaning, depending as to the screen display, some directional arrow keys, and a green start button and a red stop button. The unit does come with a backpack style carrying case. As you see, a 2-year warranty, the applied part adapters and such. And to keep in line with what's new in test equipment, the 288 and the 62353 operate from internal batteries for stay alive function. And now you also can do your point-to-point linkage testing, ground continuity, and insulation resistance from the internal batteries. So diving into the testing itself a little bit, here is the ground bond or continuity testing, as we would probably refer to it here in the U.S. Historically, this was always done at 25 amps, as specified by the 601 specification. 62353, that is decreased down to 200 milliamps. However, testing would also show that testing at less than 8 amps will not break down any contamination on the contacts, any film resistance. So what is done here then is a small, or a pulse current is set for a small duration, high current, to burn through, if you will, any contamination. And then the actual testing is done at 200 milliamps. Testing that we've done would say that 25 amps may not be the best current to do your testing at. Here's a little diagram of a test that we have done where we've taken the cable and cut away a number of the strands of the wire. At 25 amps, this would pass the ground bond resistance test. The only way this would show up at 25 amps if the current was left on for a long period of time, and then of course you start to have a heat build up on those small conductors that are still left, and they would get very hot and start to burn away. 200 milliamps would define this as a poor connection and give us some exposure as to the ground wire is not intact or is not as connected as well as it should be. So the insulation resistance test is done at 500 volts DC. This voltage is, of course, generated within the test device itself. And we do the mains input, and we will also do the applied parts at the 500 volts. And what you see is that the like applied parts are tied together, so it is a single test for like applied parts. So leakage current, a couple of options here now. Direct is what was done with 60601. Two indirect methods have been added to this standard: the differential method and the alternative method. Differential will have the hot wire and the neutral wires go through a small current transformer, and in the differential mode, as you may have guessed at this point, it will look at the difference in the current of the hot wire versus the neutral wire. And then the difference then would be defined as leakage current. Alternative almost would look like a high-pop test where the input line or the applied parts are tied together, hit with a voltage, the 500 volts, and then the leakage current identified that way. There's a little diagram for direct. The differential, you'll see the current transformer and the measurement device, and alternative where the input or the applied parts are tied together. Another feature of both the 288 and the 62353 is it will identify if there's a secondary ground connection. Pretty common if you have a piece of equipment that is connected to other equipment, where if you have a display connected to a D connector, there could be alternative ground path there that could be less resistance than the 1000 ohm body model used to identify the leakage current itself. So in this particular case, there is such a connection, and you see the current path, which will take the path of least resistance, going to ground and bypassing the body model and the measuring device. So if that's the case, your safety tester will pop up with a screen giving you an alert that there is a secondary earth path, and you can disconnect the monitors or search for where the path is, remove it, and then do a successful test on the device itself. So I mentioned the 288 has Bluetooth capability for communicating to your PC. It could also be used to communicate to a portable printer and also to a barcode scanner, which would then populate the asset number into the tester itself. So now that we have all this data, what can you do with it? How do you access it? There's two options there. You can use our Medibase program. It's an asset management database. Maintains your tests and results. You can look for differences in results over time with it. You can print a customized certificate. Also can generate your own test sequences with it. And this is especially popular for small to mid-size ISO organizations. Or you can simply just output the test data either via Bluetooth or 232 as a CSV, which can open in Excel or a text file format. Appreciate your time. Pleasure being with you again. And we did just release a guide on the standard IEC 62353, and that joins other guides that we have available on ESU testing, infusion pump testing, and vital signs.
Thank you, Jack. We really appreciate that fantastic information. We got one more presenter today, and before we get to him, we're going to, quick note, the biannual MD Expo is coming up, Las Vegas, Nevada, October 21 to 23rd. We just started accepting call for presenters, so if you want to speak at the Las Vegas MD Expo, please go to mdexposhow.com and click on the call for presenters button. Okay, last but not least, our next panelist is Greg Alkire, Vice President, Sales and Marketing for Pronk Technologies, located in Sun Valley, California. Pronk manufactures test equipment that is portable, rugged, reliable, and easy to use. Products come with a NIST traceable calibration certificate and a standard 4-year warranty. Greg has spent the last 22+ years in the medical field in a wide range of roles in medical device manufacturing, service, quality, and regulatory assurance, operations, and sales. Currently, his responsibilities include worldwide sales and marketing for all Pronk Technologies products, as well as an active role in the research and development of new products. Greg, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Thank you, John, and thank everybody for joining us for this webinar. This is a great opportunity for us to have a conversation about what's new in test equipment and get feedback from everybody on the information we're providing and hopefully improve on these each year. Quick overview of the company and our existing products, and then I want to talk about what we're working on and what's new with Pronk. So Pronk Technologies has been designing state-of-the-art, compact, rugged, easy-to-use test equipment for the biomed and clinical engineering market for over 11 years now. A lot of us came from a company that only a few of you are familiar with anymore, Medical Data Electronics, MDE. A lot of us at Pronk have worked together for 20+ years, going back to the MDE days, which was a major medical device manufacturer that made vital signs monitors way back when. So we came into the test equipment market with quite a bit of experience with vital signs monitoring, which really helped us launch products that were more useful to you in terms of speeding up the testing process of those devices. Our mission from day one and continues to be designing more portable biomedical test equipment, trying to miniaturize devices that you have to carry to get your job done. We try to make all of our devices as much as possible palm-sized with very simple interfaces, including one-button operation. Instead of you having to navigate software menus, you're able to select what you need very quickly with a single button. We are very focused on making our devices extremely rugged by doing drop testing. For example, 50 times at 3 feet. All of our designs have to survive that test. All of our products come with an automatic 4-year warranty at no additional charge as well. We have spent quite a bit of time in the last few years doing customized solutions of our standard products, which we'll talk a little bit about. So just a quick overview, the first product that we launched 11 years ago, the SimCube NIBP simulator, was the first palm-sized NIBP simulator to come to the market. At this point, we've got over 7,200 of those devices in use today. We still offer 5 different configurations of that simulator to fit your specific needs. This is showing the SC5. There's an SC1, 2, 3, and 4 as well, depending on what your needs are and what you're capable of spending. The device runs on either AC or 4 AA batteries, depending on what you have access to in the patient room. Some of the custom simulations that we've developed for the SimCube include doing NIBP simulations via a serial communications port. With that, you can get complete control of hundreds of different NIBP simulations or connectivity to electrical safety analyzers for automating your testing. The two-way communication enables data capture as well for electronic record storage. The second product that we launched a couple years after the SimCube was the OxSim SpO2 simulator, which can automatically detect over 20 different oximeters on the market. There's no software menus to navigate. Again, it's a single button to scroll through different simulations that you need. There's over 7,500 OxSims in use today, and there's also a serial option for the OxSim that you may not be aware of. The serial option provides complete control of the OxSim, including saturation, pulse rate, perfusion indexes, and down to one-digit increments can be selected. In addition, there are custom configurations of the OxSim that you may not be aware of, including specific simulation needs like Alaris and Zoll and other manufacturers' specific test simulations that are required. So don't hesitate to contact us if you're looking at the OxSim and determine that the saturation you need is not available. There's a very good chance that we've already done the development for a custom simulation on that product as well. The third product that we launched was the multi-parameter simulator called SimSlim, introduced in 2007. One of the most amazing things about this simulator is it can run up to 10 years without charging the battery, without changing the battery, and without connecting it to AC. So you never have to fuss with chasing down a 9-volt battery with this simulator. It's got a patented banana plug interface for a rock-solid connection for your ECG simulations, including EKG carts. You can get all 12 banana plugs connected to the SimSlim and not worry about any noise from a weak connection for those cables. It's got a patented cardiac output technology that doesn't require any adapters. We're always looking for ways to reduce the cost of test equipment for the market. So the cardiac output was designed so you do not need to buy another adapter from us. There's approximately 4,000 of these SimSlims in the field today, and the capabilities are ECG with arrhythmias, respiration, pacer, 4 invasive pressures that can all be simulated at the same time, temperature, YSI 400, 700, and cardiac output. So to wrap up on the simulator side, we've got over 19,000 simulators in the market today in use, utilized by manufacturers and independent service organizations. You can create your own kit, customize what you need, and order a variety of different kits of our simulators. All the simulator kits include a 4-year warranty and all the accessories that you need with no hidden costs. Extremely portable, the focus being you don't have to push a cart around the hospital. You can get everything you need into one small carrying case, have it over your shoulder, and have it there with you when you need it. Something that may be very new to everybody is the EasySim clinical education simulator. Its relevance is really about the clinical educator in the hospital borrowing your simulators. So if that's happening to you and you think you may want to get an evaluation unit from us, give us a call. Basically what we did was we took the SimSlim technology that we showed earlier and attached a keypad, a custom keypad with a 20-foot extendable coil cord. And with this device, the educator can take the keypad and quickly access 48 different simulations without having to memorize codes. It's great for ACLS, BLS, PALS training, simulates hundreds of cardiac scenarios, and it's got a similar battery technology as the SimSlim, so you can get up to 5 years continuous runtime without charging the battery. So if the clinical educator is constantly borrowing your test equipment, don't hesitate to give us a call and ask for an evaluation unit. Trax was our IV pump analyzer that we launched a couple of years ago. How is that technology different from the other IV pump analyzers that were on the market? We'll get into that real quickly. Traditionally, the IV pump analyzers on the market have a fluid column that has fixed sensors that measure the change in fluid level or the travel of fluid through the fluid column, typically up to 18 stationary sensors. Those sensors being fixed means that the fluid has to reach the next pair of sensors in order to continue its measurement, which can create blind zones for measurement of the fluid travel. Typically not field serviceable and can get expensive in terms of repairs in part because of that fact. We took a totally new approach with the Trax. We wanted to develop an analyzer that had a much higher resolution in terms of data capture and seeing what's happening with that fluid travel. So we took what is a patent-pending approach, which was to take a pair of optical sensors and put them on a moving carriage that could travel very fast and not have to worry about large blind spots in terms of the fluid travel. So the carriage, with the optical sensors on it, moves using a stepper motor. The optical sensors see the edge of the bubble, and the bubble moves as the IV pump is pushing fluid through. The optics carriage moves with the bubble, and the stepper motor movement is captured. And in essence, what we have with that new approach is 1,200 data points across that same 1 milliliter fluid column, providing us with 0.8 microliter resolution in terms of what we can see in fluid travel. What does that extremely high resolution mean? It equates to speed. For example, at 999 milliliters per hour, we only require 36 seconds and 10 milliliters of volume to hit our spec of 1% accuracy. At a rate of 10 milliliters per hour, a really low rate, we only require half a milliliter volume, which is equal to 3 minutes. With our device, there's no repriming required for each pump tested. Automatically starts measurement when the fluid starts and stops when the fluid stops, so you don't have to stop the analyzer at the end of the test. So just a quick overview, the Trax is actually a 4-in-1 analyzer. It does flow and volume. It's also a pressure meter, and it can measure temperature and has a built-in stopwatch, all of which are NIST traceable. Just a quick snapshot of the precision of the Trax. We've talked about its accuracy, but this is a 100-sample test performed on the Trax using one of our proprietary test fixtures that's capable of a 0.25% accuracy. And you can see at the top and bottom of the scale on this graph the limits that we put on our test fixtures and our Trax test procedures. It has to hit plus or minus 0.85%, for example, at 500 milliliters per hour. So you can see the precision of the Trax measurement is much greater than the accuracy spec. Quickly, the Trax design requirements from day one were that we wanted it to be field serviceable so that you didn't have to send it back to us if, for example, you had any kind of fluid contamination take place. The fluid chamber is removable, and within 2 minutes you can pop that out, shown on the picture here, have that cleaned out with the cleaning solution we provide, have it back up and running within a couple of minutes. There's also a filter that can pop out of the Trax, that you can take out of the Trax and clean very quickly in case there's any contaminants in there. So the quality side of it, Trax and every other product that we've designed comes with a 4-year parts and labor warranty. As with all of our products, it was drop tested 50 times at 3 feet before being released. Even with the glassware inside the Trax, it survived 53 drops and passed over 200 tests after those drops and passed within specification everywhere. The specs, real quickly, are 1% tolerance in 3 minutes or less for flow and volume, 0.5% accuracy of reading from minus 12.5 to 75 psi. The temperature meter range is good from minus 28.9 to 115 degrees C. So what's new in terms of what Proc's been doing and our focus recently? We've been looking closely at what's called a keyboard wedge program because we've heard from customers that they want to get electronic records or data out of the Trax into electronic records. What we're showing here is a help screen that's available from the software that we're working with that shows you F keys and the subsequent data that you can grab from Trax at the stroke of a button on your keyboard. So you can see here we've got F3 is reset flow, F4 is insert volume, and so on. And I'll show you a bit of that as we go forward. So this is an example of that Wedge program in use. And what we're showing here is an Excel file that I created. It's got the Trax serial number, the asset ID of the IV pump under test. And what you'll see here is I'm clicking on a cell in Excel, and then I'm hitting an F key to ask Trax for the line result. Also, you can do that for occlusion testing. You can ask Trax by hitting F6 to send the data over to Excel for the occlusion pressure. So I'm going to show just 2 or 3 examples of this on the screen. This Wedge program, by the way, is compatible with all Windows operating systems, and you can actually connect up to 4 Traxes at one time to your PC or laptop using this Wedge program. In addition, if you want to, you can use a barcode scanner with this software in your laptop so that you don't have to type in the asset ID. So that's basically an example of that new Wedge program working with Excel. You can hit a single key on your keyboard and get a 5-digit number imported into your Excel file very quickly. In addition, we've developed what we're calling a 10-second trumpet curve capability with that Wedge program, where if you tell Trax to go into the trumpet mode, the Trax will automatically, every 10 seconds, send the data over to an Excel file, for example. And you can see here that I can chart in a microscopic way. This is sped up, of course. I didn't want everybody waiting for 10 seconds for the data to appear. You can chart in a microscopic way what's happening with the flow average over time with a particular pump. For example, if you've had an incident with an infusion pump in your hospital and the nurses want you to analyze the IV pump performance very closely and you need to generate a report for them, this could be a great tool for you. You can chart it any way you want. We chose this Wedge program because we wanted you to be able to use it with existing programs like Excel, not have to buy something from us. Here we're showing a 2-hour test where you can graph the data over time, over a 2-hour period. Notice that the flow rate average declines over time, both in the average and in the flow rate instantaneous analysis of the IV pump. And we'll talk about the reason for that here in a minute. But you can see that it starts out kind of slow. The pump reaches its expected rate, and then over time it's declining, and it actually drops almost by 1%. We discovered, because of the ability with Trax to measure down to 0.8 microliters and all the testing we've done in our engineering labs, that this characteristic of infusion pumps is actually tied to, in part, to the head height requirements that manufacturers have. So here's an example of a test procedure page from an IV pump manufacturer showing what they require you to do when you're testing the IV pump. They want you to have the fluid height, not the IV bag, but the actual fluid height, to be 20 inches above the pump, plus or minus 1 inch, which is really difficult to maintain if you're testing 50 or 60 pumps in a day's time, because you'd have to pour fluid into the IV bag every 5 minutes to keep that, to meet that requirement. So we looked at that, and we're seeing the results of that, and we showed it in the previous slide that you can see up to a 1% reduction as the fluid height goes from 20 inches down to 12 inches as the bag gets emptier. We could see that influence of that fluid height, and we're trying to find a way to solve it both for ourselves and for the market. And what we discovered was that you could deal with that fluid height changing over the course of a day's time, and we designed what we're calling the HydroBalance to maintain that fluid height inside the bag over 50 or 60 pump tests. How does the HydroBalance work? Basically, I'm going to show you a quick video, but you can see here we've got 2 IV bags that are relatively full attached to the HydroBalance, which is attached to the IV pole. And as this bag is being used for the source water for the IV pump, this bag, we call the ballast bag, will actually counterbalance the other bag. So let's start this. This is sped up, of course, because I didn't want to bore you too much, but you see how the HydroBalance pivoted as that primary bag got empty? So by doing this, you can eliminate the error of up to 1% that on the IV pump performance from the time that your IV bag is full to the time that your IV bag is empty. For those of you that do a lot of IV pump testing, this could be a big deal. Not only can you increase the accuracy of your test setup, but you can reduce the amount of fuss factor with refilling the IV bag. Essentially, if you fill the IV bag up to 1,200 milliliters, you can do that once every morning, put a new IV set on, and not have to touch the IV bag or IV set again until the next morning. So you can gain accuracy as well as gain efficiency in your infusion pump testing, which can be a huge deal if you've got 1,000 IV pumps to test in a month. So quick overview, all of our products come with a 4-year warranty. We have over 19,000 devices in use worldwide. All of our products are designed to be portable, affordable, easy to use, and very reliable. By the way, we have a new website. If you have a chance, go take a look at it. We've tried to make the website even more useful than it had been in the past, and there's more information available there and a little easier to use. So go take a look at it if you get a chance. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you, Greg. We appreciate that final presentation. All of the presenters, thank you so much. We do have a bunch of questions here, so we're going to go ahead and fire them off. This is for Fluke. Does Answer come preloaded with test procedures?
Indeed it does. In the Answer test library, we have put, just like we did in MedTester, a series of what we called in MedTester days the test sequences. We call in Answer test templates. And these are preloaded, pre-made by us, and generic, so that they can be customized. But so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Jerry's first rule about Answer has always been, never start with nothing, always start with something, and that's the something that we want you to start with. Makes it a lot easier.
All right, thank you. This one's for Rival. Does the 288 capture test data without the need of a computer connected?
This is Jack, and the answer to that is certainly yes. In fact, all the Rival equipment, data is pretty important to us. All the products have internal memory storage, and the data, the traceability of data, the data management is real important. So yeah, it does capture data internally, and then when you're ready to export it, you can export it.
Okay, great. This is for Pronk. Can Trax be used like a traditional handheld pressure meter for fluid or air pressure? And what range of pressure can it measure?
The answer is yes. The Trax was designed so that it could not only test infusion pumps, but could be used just like a traditional handheld pressure meter, simply by closing off the occlusion knob on the front of the Trax. You would take any device that you're looking to test for pressure, whether it's air or fluid, and connect that to the input port. The range is capable of doing minus 12.5 psi up to plus 75 psi, so quite a wide range with an accuracy of 0.5%. The units of measure for pressure measurement include millimeters mercury, psi, centimeters of water, inches of water, kPa, bar absolute, bar gauge, inches of mercury as well.
Thank you so much, Greg. Okay, Fluke, what do I need to do to register for the Advantage Training Center?
Well, it's real simple. All you need to do is go to flukebiomedical.com, click on the Education and Training tab and drop-down list, and then select Advantage Training as a link. On that page, we have a demo video for navigating the site, and we recommend you watch that demo video. And when you're ready to get started, click the Get Training Now button, and then select Are You New at the link, and that takes you right to the little web form you need to fill in.
Sounds simple enough. Okay, Rigel, can I customize a test sequence?
Answer again is certainly yes. Any of the test standards in the safety analyzers, be it NFPA 99 or 62353, they can be cloned into a new test sequence. You can rename that test sequence to whatever you'd like. You can add and modify tests to it, and then run your test to be sure that you have commonality with all your tests and all the data.
All right, thank you. Okay, Pronk, can your SpO2 simulator work with any oximeter, and how do I select the manufacturer?
So the OxIM SpO2 simulator will work with any manufacturer's SpO2 oximeter, and you don't have to select the manufacturer with the OxIM. We spent a tremendous amount of time in the development phase to make sure that we could actually see the manufacturer by looking at the pulses coming from the sensor and looking at the intensity of the pulses and automatically adapting for different manufacturers on the OxIM.
Okay, thanks. All right, Fluke. In regards to Fluke Answer software, is there a charge to upgrade from previous levels of Answer to the latest, and are both versions compatible with each other?
So I'll answer those two separately. First of all, once you own a license for an Answer plugin, which is the module that you would add to add compatibility and interface capability with a particular model of our test instrument, you do not pay any further with us. You are able to just download and begin using any update to that plugin. Of course, if you own several plugins, the same applies to each. So once you have purchased your license, you own that license and you can keep going. The second question again was?
Second question, I believe, was is it compatible with the older version? Are both compatible?
So any template that you create with an older version of Answer is compatible with a newer version of Answer all the time. Yes.
Okay, great. This is for Rigel. Will the Rigel 288 have a QWERTY keyboard for comfortable user interface?
That's a great question. And the 288 as it stands, no. Future development, yes.
Sounds like you may have been asked that previously. Okay. This is for Pronk. Does the Wedge program work with all test equipment or just the IV pump unit?
So it could work with other test equipment. We have developed what they call a script that allows the Wedge program to identify what function keys, for example, pull what from the flow tracks. So it is possible that it would work with other test equipment, but the other test equipment companies would have to design the scripts, as they call them.
Okay, this is for Fluke. How do I get a hold of the latest medical device test standards for IEC, and does Fluke provide this?
No, the standards are all copyright protected, and so you need to get them directly from the standards body themselves or from their publishing house. And this is really important that we all adhere to copyright laws, not only in the United States but everywhere in the world. That IP belongs to the people that created those standards. So please look to those organizations for obtaining the latest version of the standards.
Great advice. This one is going to be for Rival. How are software upgrades made available for the 288 and 62353?
Sure, pretty simple. You can go to www.rivalmedical.com, go to that particular tested product, and then look at software updates, and there you have it.
Perfect. This is for Pronk. Does Pronk offer a warranty for the SimCube?
Yeah, all of our products do come with a 4-year parts and labor warranty. So that includes the SimCube.
Great. All right, Fluke. I use WebTMA as our CMMS. Is there an interface from Answer into that system?
Not presently. TMA Systems has been provided with information, and we're ready and willing to work with them or any other CMMS provider or database company, because there's databases beyond just the CMMSs that could be interfaced if necessary. We stand ready. So we're working with all of those who go with us. Shireen Khanna, our product manager, has some more information.
Yes, if I may add. So TMA is working on an interface right now. We will make an announcement when that is ready. But TMA, along with some other CMMS providers, is working with Answer right now to create an interface to extract data and run templates right out of the CMMS system.
Great, that's good news. Thanks, Shireen.
All right, thanks for that additional input. We got just 2 more here, and just by the way, there were more questions. However, we've run out of time, and those questions will be made available to the presenters directly. Okay, so 2 more questions here. This is for Rival. How can I obtain an IEC 62353 guide, and how can I get a copy of these guides? I think we may have answered that, but if you could please answer that one again.
Sure. If you want the proper Queen's English, you can go to www.rivalmedical.com. And if you want the Americanized version, you can go to www.cword-groupusa.com and pull the guides right from that source.
Okay, last question, guys. For Pronk, how many manufacturers' devices does the SimCube work with?
At the moment, we work with 2 different manufacturers' electrical safety analyzers, and we can go beyond that if somebody comes to us and asks for it.
Okay, fantastic. Again, that's going to be the last question. There were several other questions given. We apologize for the lack of time. However, those questions will be sent directly to the presenters, and they will be followed up with you directly. So in closing, TechNation would like to thank all of our sponsors today, Fluke Biomedical, Rival Medical, and Pronk Technologies. Also a big thank you to our panelists, Jerry Zion, Jack Barrett, and Greg Alkire, for their informative presentations. Remember, a survey about today's webinar will appear on your computer screen shortly. The first 100 attendees to submit the post-webinar survey will receive a limited edition stainless steel travel tumbler. If you do not receive the survey, you can email us at webinar@mdpublishing.com. Thank you for your continued support and participation with our TechNation Wednesday webinar series. Have a great rest of the day.